Hello everybody. Today our topic is going to be on developing personal effectiveness. Well, if you want to achieve the epitome of success and want to achieve excellence in your personal and professional life, this is a video tutorial I would really want you to watch out for. We are going to discuss certain guidelines which will help you achieve success in your personal and professional life, and today that is what our module will be on. So let's get started because we have a lot of new things which you will love to hear. The agenda today is we will understand what exactly is personal effectiveness, how habits are formed. Habits and effectiveness are very closely linked together, so we will discuss a lot on habits today. Paradigms and perceptions. Positive thinking, because the best way to think is thinking positively. 7 habits of highly effective people. Now the core of our program today on personal effectiveness is 7 habits of highly effective people, which was written by Mr. Stephen Covey. So we will discuss all these 7 habits today. Filling our personal action plan. Lastly, we will urge you to fill your personal action plan to make this module really successful. Now, if I have to ask you what exactly is personal effectiveness, well, if I have to define it, it goes something like this. Personal effectiveness means making the most of all your resources at your disposal. Your personal time, your energy, everything which is there at your disposal is something which is your personal effectiveness. Well, if you really want to achieve success, highlight always on your strength areas. Work on your strength, work on your potentials, which will take you very, very far in life and make you a success. Do not concentrate on your areas of weakness, because that's not something that will take you to the success. Now, if I have to ask you what exactly is a habit? Habit is something that we do over in and over out. Right from the time we were not born with habits, but we did something over and over again. Repeatedly doing something makes it a habit. And Aristotle said it beautifully by saying that we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act but a habit. Well, for a habit to be formed, 3 things need to be there. And what are these 3 things? There has to be a desire, a need, a want. There has to be skills, learning how to do this, and the knowledge, what and why. When these 3 things are there, a habit is formed. If any of these 3 things are missing, a habit will not be formed. So it's important for a habit to be formed to have all these 3 ingredients. How exactly are habits formed? Were we born with these habits? Not exactly. We are what we are, how we repeatedly do, as Mr. Aristotle said that. So, formed over a period of time without really any conscious intent. We didn't really work consciously for getting habits formed. They happened gradually over the period of time. Ultimately, they become ingrained in our minds. Brain links specific behaviors with rewards. And that's the beauty of it. The more urgent or the more immediate the reward is, the better, the stronger the link is. Repeating the reward will reinforce the habit. And that's how habits are formed. So I would really want you to go and start forming some great habits which we will discuss today. If I have to show you this particular diagram, it resembles an iceberg, doesn't it? How much of an iceberg do we really see? We see only the tip of the iceberg. That is, only 10% of the iceberg we actually see. The remaining 90% is beneath the surface of water, which we don't really see. If I have to show this in a symbol of a human being, what we really see about a human being is only 10%, the personality of the individual. What we see about the person is his attire, his clothing, his grooming, his style, his lifestyle, his bungalow, his cars, etc. That is what the person wants us to see. What we don't see about the person is the 90% which is ingrained in the person, and that's where the character of the person lies. His ethics, his morals, his principles, his values, and this is the area where the person has struggled hard and achieved a lot of success. It is in this area that habits are formed. But what we don't see is all of this. What we see is what the person really wants us to see, the tip of the iceberg. There has to be a paradigm shift. Now, what exactly is a paradigm? A paradigm is your assumption. It is the way you think. It is very important that if we want to change at a core level, we need to question our paradigms. Paradigms are something that we have formed over a period of time and they don't really go away easily. Human beings are very lazy by nature. We love to be in our comfort zone. We don't really question our comfort zone. And the moment we are kicked out of our comfort zone, it becomes uncomfortable for us. Well, if you want to achieve success, you need to have a paradigm shift. Now, what exactly is a paradigm? Let's understand that. A paradigm is a frame of reference. It is an assumption that you have. It is the perception that you have. Two people in the same situation might have different perceptions about that thing. If you want to change your paradigm, you need to change your core level. A paradigm is a mental map. If you want to achieve something, if you want to reach somewhere, you need to have a map of that place, don't we? And nowadays, especially, maps have become so essential and important to reach anywhere we want to go in life. If you are holding the wrong map in your hand, you will reach a wrong destination. So it's important to reach the right destination. You need to have a proper mental map in your hand. Judging and interpreting things. Don't we always judge and interpret things the way we want to? That's our paradigm. So if we want to change, we need to change at an internal level. There has to be an inside-outside approach to change. What do we see in this picture here? If I have to ask you to look at this image, two of you might say, we look at an old lady here. Some of you might say, we are looking at a young girl over here. What exactly are you seeing is something that you would want to see. So in this particular slide, what I'm really trying to make you understand is perceptions are formed very, very early. You see things the way they are. You might see an old lady here or you might see a young lady. Which is the truth? There is no truth. There is no right or there is no wrong answer. It's all about your way of thinking. We are now getting introduced to the 7 habits of highly effective people, and I would urge all of you to pay attention to this particular slide because it is the most important one in our module today. Our 7 habits are: habit number 1, be proactive. Habit number 2, begin with the end in mind. Habit number 3, put first things first. Habit number 4, think win-win always. Habit number 5, seek first to understand and then be understood. Habit number 6 means to synergize. And habit number 7, sharpen the saw. These are our 7 habits and we will discuss on all these habits in a lot of detail now. So having seen the 7 habits, now let us understand what the benefits of these 7 habits are. The benefits of using these 7 habits are: it helps us to get control over our life, which is a very good thing. It helps us to improve relationships, make smarter decisions, helps us to define our values and our priorities. It helps us to listen to people in a very sincere manner. It helps us to get more done in a very less amount of time. Increases our self-confidence, being happy, having a good work-life balance, and last but not the least, it helps us, or rather challenges us, to a new way of thinking. And isn't that what we all strive to do? The 7 habits moves us through these 3 different stages. Well, let's understand this a little better. Habit number 1, 2 and 3 helps us to focus on self-mastery and have a private victory. Once we are able to do that, we move from a state of dependence to a state of independence. Habit number 4, 5 and 6 helps us to have team player skills, better communication skills and collaboration skills. Through these 3 habits, we move from a state of independence to a state of interdependence. And the last habit, which is the 7th habit, helps us to have an epitome of success. In this 7 habits, we actually become continuously improving ourselves. Well, we all move through these 3 stages of dependence, independence and interdependence through all these 7 habits. We are now getting into the most important first habit. Stephen Covey says you need to be proactive. Now, what exactly do we mean by being proactive? Being proactive means you need to be responsible for your life choices. Well, there are 2 types of people. reactive people and proactive people. Reactive people are always blaming circumstances, conditions, and everything else which is beyond their control. They always stay in a state of self-denial and they never accept the way things are. Proactive people, on the other hand, take responsibility of their actions. These are the people who always use a positive language like I can, I will, and I will do it. However, reactive people use languages like I can't, I won't be able to. It's important to be more appreciative rather than being critical. And if you are a proactive person, you will always be less critical and more appreciative of people. How do we be proactive? Well, very interestingly, to understand being proactive is not a rocket science. There are two circles here, circle of concern, which is the outer circle, and the circle of influence, which is the inner circle. Now, proactive people always spend more time in the circle of influence, the inner circle. By circle of influence, I mean to say things which you can influence, things which are under your control. Example, yourself, your family, your health, etc. Things which are beyond your control lie in the circle of concern. Well, here I would like to give examples like a film doing a hit in a box office, government, terrorism. Are these under your concern or control? Not really. You can rely a lot on them, but you can't really make a decision out of that. So what I'm really trying to say is that these are things which are beyond your control. Proactive people try and focus a lot of energy on the circle of influence, whereas people who are reactive try to focus more on the circle of concern, and hence they are wasting a lot of their time and energy on that circle. Rather, it's important to understand, focus on things that you can change or influence rather than those things which you have no control over. Moving into our new habit, the second habit, habit number 2, which says begin with the end in mind. Well, what we are really trying to say is that everything gets created twice. First in our mind, in our mental state of mind, and in the second is the physical state of mind. It is based on the principle that all things are created twice. Secondly, it's important to understand that we need to have a direction in life. If we don't have a direction in life, we'll not really know where we are going. It's important to know the final destination and have the map of your destination in hand. Having a vision and a mission is very essential. You don't really want to not know your vision and mission in life. Unless you don't know it, you will not be able to go further in life. Have a goal, have a vision, and I would really urge you to have it right now. Habit number 3 is putting first things first. Now this is closely related to time management, and this is a module which we have also done before. Time management tells us we need to have schedules, we need to have priorities in life. Well, we have mastered the first and the second habit. The third habit is all about being able to manage our time in relation with ourselves. So what we are really trying to say is have discipline and management of your life as per the direction you want to take. This habit differentiates between urgent and important aspects of our life. It's important because it will help us to avoid panic situations. We don't want to be in a state of rush all the time. So focus on the important rather than the urgent things in life helps us to be in quadrant number 2. And the key is not to prioritize your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. Once you have gained time management, this particular habit is something that is coming to you very, very naturally. Well, there are 6 ways or 6 steps to help you achieve this time management or putting first things first. It's important to connect to a mission. As I mentioned before, you need to know where you're going and connect your life to that. Secondly, review roles. We all play a lot of roles in our life, of a student, of a parent, of an employee, of a boss, whichever role you may be in. It's important to understand these are the roles of your life and you need to satisfy each and every role of your life in a good manner and a proper manner. Thirdly, it's important to identify goals, which is closely linked to the mission of your life. Organized weekly, as much as you can, try and have weekly schedules for yourself. Exercise integrity, it's very essential to be integrity. Evaluate your choices, evaluate your life every month or every quarter so that you know where you are going is the correct way to go. getting into our habit number 4, think win-win. Now this is a very important habit because it helps you to understand there is enough for everybody in this world. Thinking win-win means having an attitude that everything is there for everybody. So don't try to play a competition, don't try to put others down by winning over them. It's important to have competition, but have a healthy competition. Win-win is a commitment which allows everyone to win. Well, we are going to discuss 3 more strategies around win-win. So the first one is I lose, you win. What I'm really trying to say here is that if you always allow others to win over you, you will end up treating yourself like a doormat, and that's not a good strategy. Secondly, I win and you lose. Here, you always try to win by making sure you make others lose. Again, not a good strategy. The third is, I lose, you lose, meaning I'm going to go down the drain and I'll make sure that I take others with me as well. Again, not a good attitude to have. So, win-win is a situation which allows you to win as well as the opposite person to win. People with this attitude possess a lot of integrity and maturity, and they always think in abundance mentality, meaning there is a lot for everybody in this universe. Win-win is a situation which will help you have mutual relationships and mutual human interactions, and that will really help you to be successful in life. Habit number 5, seek first to understand and then be understood. How many times has it happened that you complete other people's sentence for them? You don't really listen to them. God has given us 2 ears and 1 mouth. The reason being, listen more and speak less. And what do? We do the exactly opposite thing. We talk and we don't really listen to each other. Well, all we are trying to say is that it's important to have empathetic listening. Try and listen to others, try and put yourself into their shoes and understand things from their perspective. It's important that you listen first to understand, only then you will be better understood. Exactly important is the challenges of communication. Have two-way communication, listen to your people, and that's where you will really master habit number 5. Well, getting into our next habit, habit number 6 means to synergize. Synergizing is all about teamwork, communication with each other. When we are working in an organization, we are meeting people with different thought processes and opinions. It's important to value each one. Don't ever think that your point of view is higher than the other person. They are right in their own ways. It's important to accept the differences with an open mind and accept them the way they are. Working together takes time, but also it produces long-term relationships and results. People bring all their personal experiences and expertise to the table. So it's important to listen to everyone. It's important to be a good team member. Differences should be seen as strengths and not weaknesses. Yes, when you are working in a team, you are many heads against one head, and that is something which is important. Getting into our last habit, habit number 7, means sharpen the saw. Well, when you have understood all these 6 habits, the 7th habit is the master of all the habits. It means to say that you want to continuously improve yourself. Sharpening the saw means continuous upgradation of skill. Important to understand, if you want to go ahead in life, you need to keep working on yourself. And here we are talking about renewing yourself in the 4 aspects or dimensions of your life. It's important that this habit keeps you fresh as long as you keep practicing other habits. And it's also important that if we don't work on ourselves, somewhere our mind becomes robotic and somewhere we lose the passion to live. So it's important to keep upgrading our skill sets if you really want to be successful in life. And how do we do that? We do it with the help of 4 dimensions, which is physical, social, emotional, spiritual, and mental. Let's quickly throw some light on all these 4. Physical, it's important to have good energy, good stamina, and also exercise, because a healthy mind is a healthy body. So learn to renew yourself physically. Emotionally and socially, it's important to give to the society, be empathetic, connect with people, and try and do as much as you can for the community. It's important to do that. Spiritual, try and do a lot of self-study and meditation, which will help you to overcome and also have a balanced work life. Mental, try and do as much as reading that you can, visualization, planning and writing. Really try to connect with yourself mentally and try to improve yourself in this particular dimension of life. Well, all I'd like to say is that successful habits have a lot of benefits and they really help you. And how? Well, motivation really works because when you are upgraded, when you are really full of life, you are full of motivation. It helps you to achieve successful goals that you have bought for yourself. It helps you to pave the way for success, and all of us listening to this video really want to be successful, don't we? And it also helps you to remove negative thoughts and replace negativity with positivity. I would like to leave you with this personal development plan. Now, I would like each one of you listening to this tutorial to really fill up this for yourself because this will help you achieve success. I'm just going to explain how this works. On one side, you have your developmental objectives. So write down which areas of your life would you like to develop yourself into. Prioritize yourself. Those particular things need to be given priority, whether it's a low priority, medium, or a high priority for you. Activities to be undertaken. What are the things you need to do for those objectives to get fulfilled? You need to have a target date for achieving the objectives because if you don't guide yourself or timeline yourself, you will never be able to achieve something. Actual date of achievement, I want you to write down in front of those objectives when you have actually obtained them or achieved them. And lastly, the review date. When have you actually reviewed yourself? By the help of this personal development plan, you will be one step ahead to your successful ladder. I'd like to conclude this module on personal effectiveness by saying that it's important to know that you need to win. If you want to win, you have to change yourself. Don't expect something to change when you don't change internally. It's important to have a paradigm shift. So start questioning your beliefs, something that will take you to your way of success. Thank you so much for listening to us. We had a lovely time teaching you this module and exactly hope that you had a good time learning things from here. Have a great day and bye-bye. Thank you.